Let's talk about heaters, guys. It is probably single-handedly the most important piece of equipment inside your tanks. Now, granted, some of you guys might not need them because the fish you keep will adapt easily to room temperature or cooler waters. Most of the fish in my fish room require heaters, and I have gone through a lot. There are a few different types of heaters that you guys probably seen. There's hundreds of different types of heaters from dozens of brands. Some of them being the big giants like Fluval, some of them being no-name brands that you guys never heard of, like this Joyo Home. And then everything in between, Hygers, Aquariums, Aquarium Co-op has a heater, Free Sea, there's a lot. There's a lot of heaters. Go to Amazon, look up aquarium heater, you're gonna see dozens of different companies. And each of those companies have, several different types of heaters. Now, the heaters these days, with the technology that they're coming out with, is great. Hyger sent me this heater. I did a review on my last video, but so far, I'm digging it. I like it because it is like my other heater. I purchased this probably a year ago. I got one, used it in my 45 tall. I liked it so much, I got another one. Now this one's brand new. I haven't even used it. Haven't even opened it. It's just like that. Now this heater is very similar to the Hydra heater. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but let me tell you what I like about the Hydra heater. So with this heater, as well as, watch, my little heater, this guy right here is also Hydra. It's dirty, but it's nice. Once you take it out of the water, it airs out. It powers down, so it's not heating up anymore. This is very important because one of the big things that lead to heater malfunction or heater failure is when you're doing water changes, the water level drops too low, the heater, is either fully out or mostly out of the water, and it's just getting extremely hot. When you're ready to add water back in, that really extreme hot temperature versus like a cool, colder temperature instantly will cause glass to crack. And a lot of these heaters, they're in like these glass tubes. Some of them have adapted to being titanium or what they call shatterless. Now shatterless, I don't know if it's the same thing as crackless, but I've had that happen before, and it's probably the biggest downfall. But a lot of the heaters these days, like this Hydra, that Hydra, I have probably a couple other heaters that do that same function, and I think it's literally life-saving. Like, it will save your fish, because not having a heater or having a heater explode could cause any type of, shock, electrical shock inside the water. You guys know that's how it goes. But let's talk about a couple different heaters that you have the option for. One of the heaters, obviously this is just a really small one. I think it's like 25 watt. Are presets. Presets, from my knowledge, are set to 78 degrees. They will temp up to 78 degrees, and that's it. You can't adjust it, you can't make it higher or any lower. Now the caveat to that is, I don't know if all of them are like this, but if, let's say your house is 60 degrees and you need your temperature of your tank to go up to 78. A lot of them won't do that. Even though they're preset to 78, they're only designed to go up, a few degrees, maybe like 4 to 8. I don't know the exact numbers behind it. But although they are preset to 78, they can only go up a few degrees. Now the temperature in my fish room is about 70. So this one going into my tanks will probably get it to 78. Maybe. I mean, I've never had an issue with it. So that's about 8 degrees. Even if it was 76, I'm fine with that. Most tropical fish, 76 is all right. So that's what you gotta know about presets. Second type of heater is this heater right here, which is the Eheim They went on sale on Amazon for like 20 bucks. It's 100 watt, so I picked up an extra one. I always like having spare heaters just in case. But I have these in 2 of my tanks already. I haven't ever purchased Eheim heaters. I've heard, the community, like, they rave about them. They've got a really good reputation, as well as a 3-year warranty. We'll talk about that later. But the Eheims, I believe it is still glass. Let's take it out. But they have a dial. Yeah, it is glass. This is generally how most heaters are going to be. They're going to have a coil that heats up, which is going to heat up the water around it, causing the tank to eventually warm up. Now, most of them look like this. Hopefully that's focused, which they have a dial which you can set it to, depending on preference of your fish, I guess. Another thing. I don't know a heater that doesn't come with suction cups. They all come with suction cups. Every heater I have comes with suction cups. Suction cups will inevitably fail eventually. And if they don't, it's better that you don't move them. What happens is that cheaper suction cups, they can get stiff. You'll get like a little white buildup around it, and they'll just lose their suction. Other ones, when you pop off or move around, your glass will always have, I don't know, whether it's like algae or mineral buildup. It's always going to have something on it, which is going to decrease the efficiency of these suction cups. So anytime you're taking off the heater or moving it around, take a razor to that glass right in the area and clean it up before you put it back on. All right, now I wish I didn't take this off. But those are the Eheims. I've only had them for a year, maybe a little less. It's probably been around a year. They're still running fine. They look great. I'm not getting any issues with them, except for the suction cups. The next type of heater is going to be like your preset heaters. They're going to have a controller which is on the outside, just like this, and you're just going to set it. You're going to press it until it gets to the temperature that you want to set it to, and then it'll heat up. Most likely it's going to have an indicator light, which is probably going to be red to signal you that it's heating up, and then it'll switch to green once it's maintaining that temperature. These I like because you can change the temperature from outside of the tank. You don't have to get your hands wet. But also, these are suction cups as well. And if I can pop this off, I don't know. But they also have glass tubes with coils inside. They just have a protective housing. Protective housing, plastic housings are good. I like them just because you don't have to worry about, any fish or, whatever you have in your tank getting too hot or getting like a burn. I've heard of heater burn. I've never experienced it yet. Fingers crossed, but it's a thing. All right. And then the last type of heater is like these bigger ones, which is technically a giant version of the small ones, except they've got a bigger screen, or they've actually got a screen on the controller, and you can just set it from there. Like the small heaters, same thing. I like them. I like them a lot. They're probably my favorite heaters just because you can set them from outside. It's got a little digital reading of what the temperature is currently at and what you set it to. So that's always a good thing. You can see where the temperature is. Acts like a thermometer. Because they've all got, for the most part, they've all got built-in thermometers inside. And then, yeah, you can see when it's heating up. You can see when it's off. I think that's a great function to have. I do want to mention a heater controller because I do have one on my flower horn tank. I also bought another one of these because I thought I was going to use them, but I ended up getting heaters with controllers on them. So this is the Inkbird. You guys might already know about this. What's really good about this is that this whole unit, you attach your heaters to here and you set your temperature on here as well as the heater as well. This is the controller. If I set my heaters to 80 degrees and I set my controllers to 75, as soon as it hits 75, the heater's gonna shut off. So this will just power off the cord. So the heater that's plugged into here will not have any power anymore. So this is always like a fail safe. So if you have your heaters set to, let's say 76, you can set these to 80 just in case you don't want to experience a heater stuck situation. I've gone through them twice, completely destroyed, you know, my whole tank just because they've got all the way up to like 90 plus degrees. Things like this will prevent that. So I like having it around just in case. I haven't figured out where I'm gonna put it yet, obviously, so it's been sitting in here in the box unused until I figure that out. All right, so for my last video, I switched out, this was my, I can't even tell what brand this is. I switched out this heater with the Haiger one because, I mean, it still works fine, but it's probably 3 years, 4 years maybe. And during that time, like this is reaching the end of its life cycle. Not 100% sure. That's why having heaters with a longer warranty is always good. So Eheim's 3 years. I don't know how they monitor that because I probably bought it several months ago and I haven't even used it yet. I used to have Aquarium Pro. Aquarium Pro, I don't know if they still do. They have lifetime warranties. I've only had to switch it out once. You know, they just asked me a couple questions and they just sent me a brand new one. I don't think that's the same with the regular Aquariums, but Aquarium Pros are a little bit more expensive, which is probably around standard heater price range, $30 to $40, depending on the wattage you get. I'm frugal. I don't like spending $30 to $40 on a heater, but I also don't want it to crap out on me because it's happened before. I think the nice medium is if you can still get Eheim's, the Jaegers, for like 20 bucks, I would do it. I think they went down in price because they released a new model. Haiger heaters, I've been using them for a couple of years. I haven't had any issues with them. I have the small one, I have this big one. I also have, I'll show you guys in a minute. I haven't had any issues, but that's not to say that they don't have any flaws, all right? So this heater is nearing 4 years, so I switched it out. Preemptive maintenance, precautionary, I don't know, whatever it's called. But using it for 4 years, I got great life out of it. So I'm not upset. It didn't fail on me while I was using it, but it's done. I'm not gonna use it anymore. Most heaters that I've seen say they're good for about 2 years. So if you have a heater and you're reaching that 2-year mark, get a spare, get a controller, or just switch it out. Start thinking about, you know, what you're gonna do if that heater fails. Not to say that it won't last 4 years like this one, but if you can, I would think about it. So I know money comes into play for a lot of people, as you know, as it does for me. Like, I don't like spending $40 on a heater. That's why I don't have Fluval heaters. I've heard good things about them, but just like any other brand, they've got their negative reviews. But those, you know, those just, I don't know, 40, 50, I think even 60 bucks. I don't know, they get expensive. And I don't feel like spending that much if I can get a decent heater for a fraction of that price. So let me show you guys. All right, so what's up, buddy? So these two heaters are plugged into my Inkbird. My Inkbird is set to 82 degrees. So if it hits 82 degrees, or maybe if it goes above, it'll shut off and the heaters will shut off. But I think the heaters are also set to 82, so they'll shut off themselves whenever they reach that temperature. If you guys look, you guys can see it right there in the center. There is condensation inside the tube. Now, that one is the same if you guys can see it. I know it's covered in algae. But this model of Haiger heater, I've got probably 6 of them. They all, excuse me, sir. They all do this. I've wrote to them and they've sent me a new one. The new one does this as well. But they're working fine. That condensation amount really doesn't grow. And none of them have crapped out because of it. And like I said, these have been in here for, I've been using these for at least a year. So I'm not upset. I mean, I wish it didn't, just so I didn't have to worry about it. But since it's been this long, I really don't have any more worries about it. I might switch them out with the new Higer heater. I don't know, but larger tanks, I like having two heaters. I think those are 300 watts. Reason being, if one fails, the other one can kick in. And secondly, both of them aren't using their full power. What that means is if I only had one 300 watt heater, this is a 75 gallon tank. If only one was on there, it would be on longer, if that makes sense. When I do a water change, that heater is probably going to be on for, I don't know, an hour just to get up several degrees. If I got two heaters on there, they're probably going to be on for 20 minutes each. So that, theoretically increases the lifespan of it just because technically I'm using it less. Yeah, it's also a fail-safe. So if you guys have big tanks, I think it's a good idea to do that. Something you're gonna also want to do is, my spray bar is right up here. You want to put the heater where there's water movement. So the warm water is consistently just moving throughout the tank. And I have another one on that side, which hopefully it blows in to the canister filter and it circulates. You want adequate flow where your heaters are. That just, makes it so there's no cold spots in your tank, no warm spots. It just more healthy for the fish. I do have a couple unknown heaters. Like there's my Eheim. That one is a Night Crew preset. So you can see lights are on. That means it's heating up. Probably in a couple minutes it'll turn off. That's also one of those Higers. What else? That's a no-name brand. Yeah, I don't know what that one is. There's another Eheim. And I can't tell what that one is either. But some of them will come with the plastic housing where you can put it through. Got another Higer heater in there. It's lit up. That means it's on. Same goes for that one. Higer heater. It's lit up and it's on. So yeah. So you guys, obviously that's like 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 of those Higer heaters that have the condensation issue. But I haven't had a problem with it. This one is my Aquarium. I think it's just a regular Aquarium. I don't think it's the Pro. That one down there might be the Pro. I know, buddy. But that's a heater right there in the back. This is the controller. Obviously it's green because it's not heating up anymore. I set it to 76, it reached 76. Really nifty controller. So let's see if I can take it out. Now, I didn't want to remove it because I hate dealing with these suction cups. But for the purpose of this video, you see, I've already pulled it out, not even all the way. And it's airing out on me. I know it's upside down, it's just hanging there. It's airing out. See, it's barely out. So let's put it back in and we're good to go. All right, let's see how much I have to remove it. See, just a little bit. I mean, like when I do water changes, like definitely more than that is out from the tank. Oh, shoot. See, now I gotta stick it back. And that suction cup popped off. So some of the heaters will have the suction cup that, goes into the housing, which is nice, but if you ever want to move it, it's a pain in the butt. What else? I think that's it. That's, pretty much heaters in a nutshell. Just, there's so many different brands. Like, I go through threads and Facebook pages, people, asking for recommendations on heaters. Generally, I like to recommend the Higer ones because they're at a good price point and they've been solid for me with no issues. So I guess it just all comes down to whatever your means are. how big of a tank that you're heating up, and what functions you like. I'll link some of the heaters down below. Some of them might be affiliate links where I might earn a couple pennies from, but anything helps. And maybe one day I can cash in that check and, you know, buy something else for this fish room. But as always, guys, thank you for supporting me. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.